Sandy Wiley. Today I'm going to talk about internet relationships. We all have them. Some of our internet friends treat us better than our real friends. I find that very true. There's one particular woman who I'm friends with on Facebook, who I've met. She was an old childhood friend. Her name is Sue. And we've been friends on Facebook for, oh my goodness, I don't know, maybe 10 years, I'm going to say. A very long time. And we don't talk on the phone, but I know, a lot about her and what's going on in her life. Sometimes we instant message each other. She knows what's going on in my life, and I know what's going on in her life. And this is very true of internet friends, even ones that you've never met before. A lot of people on the Facebook I've never met, never had a phone conversation, and I know intimate details about their lives, and well, everyone knows intimate details about my life, because how many books have I written, how many YouTube episodes, or what do you want to call them, programs or videos. I couldn't think of the word. Brain freeze. I'm 58 years old. Brain freeze. Yeah. How many YouTube videos have I said very intimate, detailed, personal things about my life? But getting back to internet friendships, whether they're platonic or romantic, it doesn't matter. I'm just covering all of them in one fell swoop. I'm just talking about intimate relationship, internet relationships that can seem more intimate than your real life friends or lovers or boyfriends or whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, romantic or platonic. And I think that's because somehow people on our friends list on the Facebook are always there. They're always there for us, because we're on their feed. If someone is on your friends list, then you see their postings. They're on your feed, so when you scroll, you see everything that they post. And a lot of these people post all the events in their lives, their marriages, their divorces, their pregnancies, their childbirths, career changes. I mean, basically, you learn and you feel very close. They're also there when things go wrong. It's helped me greatly. When I was in the hospital sick with GERD, in the ER, I posted that on Facebook. I said, I'm in the emergency room. I had severe pains in my chest. I thought I was having a heart attack. And I posted all about my GERD. And people were really supportive, People on the internet, not people, because at this point in my life, I don't have any real friends in my personal life. All I have is my husband and my children. But people, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, 5,000. And I have oh my God, something like 17,000 followers on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is not, that's more business. But 5,000 friends, and they're not really friends. A lot of them I don't even know. But I like to just add people just to see what the hell, what comes of it. And I've really met some interesting characters. Real interesting characters by doing that. But those are the people that are there, to support you, more than the people in your everyday life. Isn't that weird? It's weird, but it is true, that your internet friends are there. They're the ones that, this is what, I've come to know, and other people have told me this, that they get more support from their online friends than from their friends, their personal friends who they see all the time. It's like, it's like a distant intimacy. Now, if you haven't read my new book, one of the chapters is distant intimacy. It's about a distant relationship I had with a Yale psychologist through emails. I mean, I also met him. He also was my therapist, and he was my couples therapist with the psychologist I was having sex with. It wasn't like I didn't know this guy in person, but there was a period of time when I wasn't seeing him professionally, and we had this kind of like email relationship. And in my new book, I go into graphic details where I'd send him pictures without my clothes on. I gotta be careful because I'm being monetized, what I say here. So, and things in emails that you would read in like X-rated books. So in that way, it was like a distant affair, And I go into detail about that in the book, but a lot of times you can feel like you've fallen in love with someone that you never even met. Like that song, I knew I loved you before I met you. You know that song? And you feel like that because you feel like that person is very familiar with you because you share so much, you think you know them because of all their postings, or maybe they're instant messaging you, or even some of them like I don't want to like give details. I don't want to like infringe on someone's privacy, so I'm gonna not tell you that. Someone I know had a relationship with and fell in love with someone out of state. I want to protect this person's privacy, so I'm not saying who it was or anything in depth, but so it was someone far, far away, and they were out of state, and the person never met them, okay? They didn't meet each other. What they did was they talked online, and they talked on the phone, and they also had like Skype. When you have a webcam, I don't know what you call it, there's Skype, or when you webcam someone, and you can talk like face to face, like on the computer or on your phone, FaceTime like that. So they talked FaceTime, and they got intimate, and they, the person fell in love, but they never met, and the relationship didn't work out. Do you really think that's falling in love when you never met someone in person? That's a question I asked myself that question, and I'm throwing that question out there to you guys, my subscribers. Do you really think that you can fall in love when you haven't even held someone, haven't even kissed someone, haven't even seen them face to face, haven't like been through any experience with them other than like on a FaceTime, on a screen, on a computer screen, I'm hesitant to say, that you can. It could probably lead to love. But I'm hesitant to say that you can, is that real intimacy? It's distant intimacy. And I have a whole I have talked about that in my book, what this distant intimacy is and how it can often mislead you, A lot of times people form these relationships on the internet, and they think, well, they really know this person. They might have like been talking to this person for months. Maybe even went to the phone on the phone and talked to this person, you know. And I had one of those relationships. I had a friendship with this guy. What is his name? Art. I couldn't think of his name. He died years ago. Art Noble. Look him up. He has a Facebook page, even though he's dead. Art Noble. Noble. Well, I met him on LinkedIn. We instant messaged each other. I was friends with him on Facebook. Then we got to talking on the telephone, and I told him detailed personal stuff about Jim, and he told me detailed personal stuff about a woman he was having a relationship with named Nicole on the internet. And we talked, oh my God, I was friends with him like that for 5 years now. I'd never met the man. He lived in Florida. And there was no romantic things between. It was just a platonic friendship, but it lasted 5 years. And we talked on the phone. He'd call me, you know, if I wanted to talk. He says, "You want me to call you?" And I say, "Okay." And he says, "All right, I'll call you at this time." Usually it was 6:30. And it was after my dinner and before his dinner, because a lot of times at 7:30 he'd say, "Oh, I gotta get off now. I gotta go get dinner." But I felt very close to him, even though I never met him. I never did FaceTime or Skype. I never talked to him I never webcammed him. Okay, so I never talked to him like this on a webcam or a video or a FaceTime. It was only through the telephone and through instant messaging. You know. But he was getting sick, and you know, he died of lung cancer. He used to smoke cigars all the time. And when I found out he died, his son posted it. I cried and cried. I mean, I'm getting kind of misty if you haven't noticed now. I really considered him a friend, and I don't consider many people a friend. He listened to me, you know, when I was going through shit, and with Jim, and he was older too. Like he died when he was 79, and that was years ago. But he was in his 70s, and I was, I don't know, my early 50s. They're probably like over 20 years age difference. And he was like kind of like a father figure to me, you know. He's over 20 years older than me, and he gave me some good, legitimate advice about Jim. Yeah, he told me about cognitive dissonance. That's what I remember, that Jim is doing something that he doesn't believe in. So he's fighting against himself. He's trying to convince himself. I mean, we went into depth. I mean, he taught me a lot. And I value the friendship, even though I never met him face to face, not even on a webcam. What I'm trying to get here is, you know, how close is close when you've never met the person? Can you form intimate, deep relationships on the internet? And now, when I think about my friendship with Art Noble, and he wrote a book too. He wrote books like me. And I bought his book, by the way. Yeah. I don't know if he bought mine. I don't know how many books I don't think I wrote many books back then when I knew him. But anyway, that relationship had value to me, you know. I didn't meet the man. I didn't even, you know, webcam him and have a real-time face-to-face conversation with him. But that friendship I valued. I mourned the loss. I cried a lot, and I felt, you know, a loss when he died. And even though I didn't meet him, yeah, it was an intimate, deep friendship. So in that circumstance, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like, in some ways I see it, in other ways, not so much. So it's not like I'm totally, convinced. Using that experience, I can say yes. I've also, like with my friend Sue, even though she was a childhood friend, and we met a few times for lunch, but only a few times. We mostly just friends on Facebook, and she comments on every single post on Facebook. Every single post, she'll give a heart or a thumbs up or say something nice. Every single post of mine, and she's very supportive. And even though we don't hang out together, right? I don't hang out with her. She's never been to my house. I've never been to her house. We don't hang out. We're not really outside friends. But I feel like she is my friend. I know what's going on with her. I did go to her mother's funeral, wake. Yeah, her mother's wake. I think it was last year I went. Yeah, I went to her mother's wake. It was only 5 minutes down the street from me. So, but yeah, I do feel, in those ways that I do feel very close, and that you can form close relationships with people on the internet, even if it's just exclusively on the internet, and you never meet the people. I never met Art Noble in person, not once. It was solely it was on the telephone and instant messaging. That's what it was. Instant messaging on Facebook, and then we talk on the phone. But the internet these days can bring more and more people closer and closer together. It's amazing. And you can get to know someone slowly over time. But here's a question. Do you really know them just by having an online relationship, as opposed to having an in-person relationship? That's the question. Do you really know that person? It's certainly a great way to, get to know someone, and it could progress to a in-person relationship. I think so. He was going to meet me, Art Noble. He said he was traveling to Boston, but he got sick. He got really sick, and then, he found out he had lung cancer, and then he died, unfortunately. So, I do believe you can have a distant intimacy with someone that you never meet. Do you really know that person? I don't know. Some people that you live with, that you see day to day, face to face, you aren't that close to. Think about it. Sometimes you feel closer to the person that you don't see in person. So yeah, there's a lot of questions here. I guess you people might have a lot of different opinions about the subject, and you can talk about it and let me know down in the comments. We could go on here forever about this subject, but yeah, here's to you, Art Noble. I never met you, but you were sure one hell of a guy.